We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. Oh, so God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to Lucky episode number... We're keeping it. That's it. I'm done. Episode number 13. Lucky episode number 13. That's what I meant to say. It's eventually we're going to get there. On this week's episode, Happy New Year, everybody, by the way. In case you couldn't tell, we've been on a mini hiatus. And yes, so it seems like we're doing this for the first time. Oh my gosh. All right. On this week's episode, we're going to do a New Year's resolution kind of idea. We're going to talk about the characters in movies and TV that we'd like to emulate. We're going to get creative with it. And then we're going to tell you how you can possibly have technical difficulties with a game of odds and evens, and then followed by a game of rock, paper, scissors. And then we're going to do a new thing that we didn't really have a chance to do it before, but we're going to do a fantasy draft of the movies that are coming out in 2018. We'll give you more details on that when we get to it. And then finally, we're going to cap it off with my favorite segment and yours, WWWTW, also known as What We Watched This Week. And anyone who disagrees with that last statement can send a message to me on Twitter directly at CraigQuitter. So,
Twitter handle.
I know, throwing stuff out. Self-promotion. Come at me, people. I don't get enough interactions.
Our first New Year's resolution is to improve on our intros in the new year. One out of one this year has been trash, but we're going to get better. We're going to get better.
For anyone who this is the first episode, go back and listen to, I don't know, like episode 6. That's like...
literally any other episode.
That is Golden Craig intro. This is not Golden Craig intro.
No, this is bronze level Craig intro. They get much better.
But who knows? Maybe you'd like to emulate me. Andrew, who would you like to emulate?
Okay. I've got a list of 5 people who I want to be more like this year. Number 1, I've got Mike Baxter, played by Tim Allen in The Last Man Standing, because realistically, that dude's just me in like 20, 25 years. Like, he's, at the very least, he's who I want to be at that point, but I feel like that's who I'm going to become at that point. So I just want to be like him now.
That's fair.
Like, I'm 24 going on 52. So I just want to get to that point already.
That's usually how I feel most days. It's just when I'm getting out of bed. Just,
oh, for sure, yeah. The next guy on my list, I've got Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Nice.
Now,
the Ewan McGregor version.
Thank you, because I was going to ask whether it was Alec Guinness or not.
No, Ewan McGregor, because he's a great mentor, and he's also funny and sarcastic as shit.
And sassy.
He's a sassy bitch.
He's a sassy bitch.
He's a sassy bitch, and I'm already the sassy bitch, but I feel like this year I'm going to be a great mentor.
You want to aspire to Obi-Wan levels of sassy bitchness.
Yes, that's the goal. That is my goal so far this year. Do you guys want me to keep going through my list, or are we going to...
Might as well.
Might as well. Okay, yeah, my number 3, I want to be like Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Police Squad. Played by Leslie Nielsen in the Naked Gun movies.
It's Enrico Palazzo.
That's it. The dude just has extraordinary luck. Like, he messes everything up, but it always works out to a T. And I'm just hoping this year I can get some of that luck. Just make shit work. Okay. I really want that shit, and I also just want to be Enrico Palazzo.
You want to be Enrico Palazzo and the Umpire, who is also Enrico Palazzo.
At the same time. My next guy, I want to be Maximus Aurelius Decimus, which is Russell Crowe in Gladiator.
Nice.
The reason I want to be more like him is I want to ask our listeners, are you not entertained?
Every week I ask that question.
That's the first impression thrown out of the new year.
Of the new year.
By the
and
way.
Shockingly
and it
enough,
wasn't Schwarzenegger.
It wasn't Schwarzenegger.
Arnold.
What are we doing?
Whoa, new year, new us, guys. And the last one.
I don't like new
and
me. New me isn't great. Anyway, continue.
My last one is Marty McFly. Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. I want to be like him because he's determined. But most importantly, he also gets to meet Huey Lewis, that's a dream of mine.
And he has a elderly best friend. I mean,
yeah.
For an old,
well, I mean, I'm
soul
the oldest
like,
of us, so
for an old soul like you, what more could you possibly want than a retired physicist?
No, I mainly just want I want Huey Lewis because I don't know how they become friends.
Yeah.
But I want Huey Lewis because it's hip to be square. Unfortunately, I'm stuck working for a living. But it's all right. By the way, Craig, I want my Huey Lewis CD back.
I want a new drug.
Well, at least you're using it. And I guess that's the power of love.
It's 5 Huey Lewis references for those
of
you playing along at home.
I was trying to squeeze as many as I could in there.
That's why I didn't interrupt. I'm like, I know this is what he's doing, and I'm gonna just. I want to see how long this goes for.
If this is it.
6?
For me, Scott, what are yours?
Okay, I've got 4. I went like too differently. Each of the characters I picked like 1 or 2 traits that they have that I really want to like aspire to like be similar to. So the first one obviously is Batman.
See, I was gonna put Batman on, but then I was like, it's too straight shooter. Like everyone knows I'm gonna put Batman.
I knew Scott was gonna put Batman, so I was like, no.
In my defense, I've always wanted to be like Batman. Like I've always aspired to all the things that Batman.
What about Batman? All things, or do you want to be more Bruce Wayne than Batman?
I want to so the trait I specifically picked was his discipline. Was how disciplined and determined he is. So I like
that's a good trait. That's a good trait.
He's just a normal everyday human. But he runs around like he's a superhero. Like he goes toe to toe.
He makes himself more.
Exactly. And like I remember there's this one like line I think in a comic or somewhere. I remember hearing it that was like, oh, if a normal person did Batman's workout, they'd die. And I'm like, yeah, that's who I want to be like. I want to be like the dude.
You want to be dead?
No, I want to be like the dude. Like if people tried to do what I do, they would die.
Okay.
And that's what I always especially loved about Batman, and like what I've always wanted to aspire to be like, is that he's always that like he's a normal human, but he's able to like use his intelligence and his physical, like his own training to get himself to that next level where he's a member of the Justice League with all these superheroes. And so yeah, that's the main
because
thing.
He's Batman, bitch.
Because he's Batman, and I want to be Batman. So that's the first one I got on my list. The next one I have is Sherlock Holmes.
Which Sherlock?
Okay. Yep.
Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock, just because he's a little more.
Because he's a sassy bitch too.
Exactly. And his was a little bit more like I like his like observant. That didn't come out word. Like how observant he is of everything, and like how smart he is, and then that mainly kind of like translate to my goal of wanting to read a lot more this year. And so yeah, I want to aspire to be a lot more Sherlockian in my intelligence, if that makes sense.
Does that mean that I'm Mark Strong and Craig is Jude Law, or vice versa?
I think I'll have to let you two decide that.
Ooh. We could try to rock, paper, scissors for it, Craig, but that might not work out again.
It was already hard enough the first time.
Well, then maybe I should just move on to
Mark
my next
Strong
character.
Anyway. It's probably
Who's your next one, Scott?
Okay, so the next one I had was Thor, from Thor Ragnarok, and the
Do you just want to be buff? Is that the thing?
Actually, like that's just kind of a side thing, but it's mainly like it's more his risk taking and like how he's just always willing to like he has zero comfort zone. He's always willing to risk anything and just go out there, and I really respect that because
it helps that he's pretty much indestructible, though. Maybe you should set limits and boundaries for your ballsiness.
I agree. He is at a different level. I'm not saying I could meet that same level. I want to aspire to be a little bit more.
Have his level for asking out women, but not doing daring stunts.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to be able to
nut up or shut up, but also go home with those nuts. That's the goal.
Hopefully attached.
Exactly. So
hopefully,
That's what about Thor I want. I just like his risk taking and how he doesn't have a comfort zone, and so I want to aspire to be a little more like that. And then my last one was John Wick, which is gonna sound a little odd at first, but I like.
do you want to associate with the Russian mob, or do you just want to kill a bunch of motherfuckers?
It's his
Because if it's the
zenness.
second one,
It's not
I
the killing.
digress. Maybe let's not talk
It's more
about
his
that.
calm. Because
Okay.
even though he's doing all that stuff and he is kind of angry on the inside, he still has this calm composure.
He's in the zone.
Exactly, and he has this zen state. And I'm just like, sometimes I get a little too emotional about stupid things like the bus. And I shouldn't get mad about the bus. It's public transportation. Just get over it.
I don't know.
Scott.
I had an issue with snowplows the other day. I was getting livid about snowplows in Font Hill.
Oh.
So I totally get losing your mind over some public services.
Yes, and well, the thing is, I sometimes maybe take it too far. Considering I take the bus every day, and it's pretty much my own
I do
fault.
not take snowplows every
Yeah.
day.
So
hopefully
yes.
not.
So that's why I want to be more like John Wick and be able to keep my calm and composure with my anger and my emotions, like pretty much John Wick and Keanu Reeves in general, because he's just a very chill dude
Chill
in everything
dude,
he is.
yeah.
So I want to be more chilled out about certain things. So, but those are the 4 characters I had to come up with, because Batman covers a lot of it for me, to be honest.
Yep. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
But we all knew that was going to happen. But
Who do you
Craig,
have on yours, Craig?
yeah, Craig, let's.
All right.
Who you want to aspire to be like similar to?
I surprisingly spent quite a while on this. So the
cool.
first one I could think of, I know. The first one I could think of was Kevin Costner's character in Field of Dreams, Ray Kinsella. Mostly because
Yep.
that's one of my favorite movies, but also because
It's Kevin Costner.
Well, yeah, it's Kevin Costner. It's a baseball movie. Like, really, you couldn't go wrong there. But he stands up for his family and what he believes in, even though everyone around him doesn't. And you can see that pretty much right from the beginning. Keeps his convictions and goes out to Boston, picks Archie Graham on the way back, builds the freaking baseball field in the middle of his cornfield, and sticks with it right through to the end, even though his brother-in-law was getting weird about it and harassing his family about it. And it just, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm sorry, but it came out in 1989, so I hope I didn't ruin it.
Get your head out of your ass. Go watch Field of Dreams.
So that's the first one, is Kevin Costner because he stands up for his family and what he believes in. And then this next one seems like it goes against it, but I actually picked Emmett from the Lego movie.
Do everything you believe in, but at the same time, do stuff for other people too.
Well, no, the thing I took away from Emmett is that Emmett has a ton of self-confidence.
Okay.
The
Elaborate
entire
more.
movie was he's
I don't know. I don't think he has a ton of self-confidence.
he just seems so damn sure with pretty much everything that he does about himself. And then he also listens to other people and changes his viewpoints based on the experiences of others. And that's what I got from
that's
it.
why I don't think it's he doesn't have self-confidence. He thinks that's what he's
there's-
supposed to be doing.
There's
so he just does
self-confidence,
it.
and then there's blindly thinking that what you're doing is correct. I think that he's
kind of a balance of the two.
I got that he was like, yeah, I'm Emmett, and then he thinks he's the special, so he's awesome, and then but he doesn't like because he starts off the movie with being like following everything by the rules, but he changes his perspective over the movie by taking the experiences of others.
So you want mid to late movie Emmett then?
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
Yes.
I can live with that.
Because he I want to be somebody who stands up for what I believe in, but is also willing to change it based on the experiences and viewpoints of others.
Okay.
That makes
Okay,
sense.
I accept that.
I hope that makes sense. It made sense
That's
when I
very
wrote
big
it.
and open of you, or not big, yeah, open-minded. Of
Yeah,
you,
thank
Craig,
you.
To aspire
Thank
to
you.
be
On a side note, how freaking good is the Lego movie? I know
It's-
we've talked about it before,
it's
but it's
so
so good.
Just talking about it now makes me want to go rewatch it. 'Cause
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
are talking about it. I'm just like, I forgot the kid's name was Emmett. To be honest, it's been a little while since I've seen it, but I love that
it's so
movie so
good.
much.
It's so good and catchy.
Yeah,
And just
it's
how
one of those kids movies that I actually like. That
Every-
I
Chris
Every bit
Pratt,
of
the
it's-
only guy with 3 Lego men made after him. Freaking guy.
every
It's
bit
true.
of it's hilarious too.
Yeah.
Just
Everything is awesome.
everything is cool when you're part of a team.
We're a team. What's on the rest on your resolution?
So the
list?
next one is Brent Morin's character on Undateable, Justin the bar
Okay.
owner.
Yep.
And I picked Justin because he's sincere and he cares about the people that are around him, even though he can be a jerk sometimes. And he's a small business owner, and who doesn't aspire to be a small business owner?
I don't, because I already am.
Yeah.
Life is
Already-
good.
Already are, exactly. And then I don't really have much to say about that.
See, my favorite part about Justin as a character is the only other thing I've seen him in on television is one appearance in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where he's the co-owner of Dark Milk, the episode
Right.
where Terry's going to get a vasectomy.
Right.
He's like the silent partner of Dark Milk, and he's a total douchebag, and he's the exact opposite of Justin.
I just like Brent Morin, generally.
He's quite funny. His comedy, he strikes me as a lot like Chris D'Elia.
Yes. Well,
Like
that makes
Chris
sense.
D'Elia with more direction attached to it.
Yes. I can agree with that. And my final character, just because I felt like I had to fit in with the rest of your lists, is I picked Cliff Clavin from Cheers. Why? Because that dude knows freaking everything.
Which one's Cliff again?
Comes with the territory, man.
Remind me of which one's Cliff again.
Cliff is the mailman.
I thought
who
so. Okay.
Always
to make
has
sure. Yeah, with
always
the
has an answer. Yeah, with the
I thought so.
mustache.
I just wanted to make sure I was remembering correctly. Again, Cheers has been a while.
Yeah, it's on Crave
Thank
TV.
you for being
I know.
a
I've got way too many
friend.
things on Crave TV to watch. I'm watching the new Doctor Who at the moment, but that's something we can talk about later.
Yes. That's
Man, listening to your guys' lists, like, you guys want to legitimately better yourself. I just want good shit to happen to me. So clearly, I'm just super selfish.
I was thinking
in
about that
my
too.
resolution.
I like the different takes we each took. Like I felt like yours was a little bit more fun. Mine was a little bit more like goal.
You guys wanted like legitimate change, whereas I'm like,
And Craig really wants to be a better person.
yeah.
Like, I want to get shit done. Craig wants to be a better human being. And I'm just like, oh, Craig, you make me feel bad.
I want to become Enrico Palazzo and meet Huey Lewis. Like, I just want childhood dreams to come true this year. I'm pretty much Palpatine from Star Wars. Like, I just want shit to happen for me. Screw everything else.
I'm definitely Anakin, to be honest. I'm going to the dark side one of these days.
Come over, man. Just come on. You'll meet Huey Lewis on this side. It's good.
I'm down for that. That's probably.
You might even meet the news.
We all missed the news.
And the Jews after the band broke
After
up.
the band broke up. Family
That's
Guy
not
references.
anti-Semitic, by the way, for you guys.
I'm
That's
so
a Family Guy
confused.
reference.
Family Guy references.
Okay.
We don't come up with some of this content.
No. We steal it from Seth MacFarlane because we can.
Exactly. Because we can.
He's not listening.
If you have a problem with it, Seth, come on the show.
Yeah,
We'll talk about
we
it.
can
Like,
discuss
actually,
it. Yeah.
actually do, please.
Please have a problem with it.
Come and tell me that I'm a terrible person for stealing your ideas. But, like, in person.
Please.
And maybe you can also comment on our next segment, which maybe we should move on to. What do you guys think?
Yeah. So, technical
think we
difficulties
should.
with odds and evens?
Yeah.
Yes. Is
That's
that
what,
what
I
we're
wasn't
calling
sure
this
if we were
segment?
going to skip that or not. But
I
it's
think
up to
that's
you,
what we
Craig.
should call it.
Okay.
The segment is technical difficulties with odds and evens. And that's where we're going to leave that. We'll just say that it's not easy to play odds and evens over a Google Hangouts connection.
It is not, because
That's-
nothing syncs up.
Nope. Slightly delayed.
Yeah,
We should have thought that through before we tried, but we
when there's
managed
a
to make it
few
work.
when there's a few hundred kilometers between us, it turns out there's a delay.
Just a small one.
Anyway,
Yes, this is getting really sidetracked and all
our
over the
fantasy draft.
place. Our fantasy, our 2018 blockbuster movie fantasy draft.
Yes.
Our fantasy movie fantasy draft.
Now, if I understand the concept correctly, and I'm going to do this because I hope I'll ask all the questions our listeners are asking. Basically, we're going to run this like a sports draft. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Correct? That makes sense? Or do you want to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3?
I thought we were going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. NFL style.
Yeah, I thought we were in NFL style.
Figures the NFL's
It's the only draft I've ever watched, to be honest.
Yeah, I've never watched any baseball draft.
Every other draft goes 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, but
So
then
you
there's
pick
the
back
NBA.
to back.
This isn't Catan, man. This isn't how we're running our draft.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, figures the NFL would be backwards. Okay, so we're doing 1, 2, 3.
I opt to take a knee.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it'll be 15 picks in total. We're all basing it on the same, or roughly the same list of the top blockbusters based on the films that are coming out based on popularity, and then we're going to track our feature films throughout the year, much like a fantasy team. and at the end of the calendar year, we're going to total up our blockbuster takings. And do we want to do a couple different tiers, like the best opener total and the best?
Ooh, these are the tough questions.
Yeah,
Those
so we
are,
could do like best overall,
Yeah.
best opener total, and then
Yeah.
maybe do like best. I don't know.
Like domestic.
Yeah, best. So we could
Domestic
do
versus worldwide, maybe.
Yeah, so we could do best domestic as our actual champion, because that's what we base all of our other things on.
I was
We
thinking
could
worldwide for that. I was basing my choices off worldwide.
Okay, so we can do best worldwide, then best overall, or best domestic, and then best openers.
Yeah, I like that.
That way there are 3 separate titles.
Yeah, that I'll win.
Okay.
Works for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Scott, you want to tip us all off?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll start it off. Just so everybody knows, we did decide this off camera. That was what the whole odds and evens things was about.
Took us
and
15 minutes.
Yes, but I won, and with the very first pick of the 2018 blockbuster movie fantasy draft.
Oh, let me help.
There we go.
I'm
There we go.
picking Avengers: Infinity War. Like anyone was that
Avengers:
surprised.
Infinity War.
Yes. I think that's going to open big. It's going to go big worldwide. And anyone who thinks otherwise might be right. I don't know. We'll find out.
Well,
But that's
with
what I'm going to
the-
start off with.
With the second pick in the 2018 blockbuster film draft, the Craig team takes Solo, because I think that'll be the best performing movie, and I think that anybody who doesn't is insane.
Well, see, Craig,
We
one
might
thing
as
I
well
have to
have
say
some
is
animosity.
one thing. I just want. Did you think about the fact that it's only going to be like 6 months since the last Star Wars was out?
Yep.
Many
And
people are going to be Star Wars out,
and
if that's even possible.
I am the worst
And
general manager in
weeks-
existence. I base
weeks-
everything off of emotional
okay,
feeling,
It's,
and
and it's
I
coming out
feel like
weeks
Star Wars is
after
going to be
Infinity War.
amazing. That's fine.
What'd-
I have no
yeah.
fatigue.
What'd you say, Scott?
Well, I'm not saying you do. We're talking
I know.
about everybody else.
I'm basing
you
it on
can't
me.
Sway the global box office.
Watch me, Scott.
Well, he's going to throw
I
a
will.
20 at them and say, hey, listen,
I
make
will.
this...
But anyways, Andrew, what are you going to take for the third pick?
So since you guys took the 2 definitive top 2 choices, I'm going to come in with the third overall pick. My number 1, Ready Player One.
Nice. I like
Damn
it.
it! I was hoping
like
that was going to be
it.
a sleeper pick.
I was kind of hoping that lit for later too, but it's also lower on my list, so I'm not that disappointed. I'm just gonna cross
See,
that off mine.
I think that movie is going to be a surprise pick for this year. I think it's going to come in a lot higher, just because a few people are going to go see it and be like, holy shit. It's going to Frozen us, I think, is what's going to happen.
See,
It's going to be a sleeper movie that all of a sudden just blows everyone's minds.
I don't think it's gonna be a sleeper. I think it's just gonna be. I think it's gonna be big. I don't think it's a sleeper as much as you think. There is a big fan base for it already. I know that. I've seen a few videos already for it, but that's a good choice. I think still for third.
Yeah, I didn't think it would get that high on the list, though. Way to moneyball us.
That's how we do it, man. All we do.
There's always curveballs, and like we said, we have 3 categories that can work with. But with my next pick, I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about this, but I'm gonna go with Black Panther.
I was debating it.
I just want to say, guys, so far, all of my orders, we're doing it in the exact order I have it put down. So kudos to us.
Yes.
Okay, Brad Pitt, calm down.
And the reason I think this is going to be so big is because it's the first big comic book movie of this year coming out, and it's got nothing else around it, and it's the first all African American cast. So I think all those things, it's going to be a very Wonder Woman-esque performance with it, which Wonder Woman hit $1 billion. So I think Black Panther. I even almost consider Black Panther higher, meaning I thought it might even be 1, but I was like, I can't hedge my bets that much. So it's number 2 for me.
Oh.
Well, you got a pretty solid first and second. Like you've got Jonathan Ogden and Ray Lewis right now, so 2 guaranteed Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
So fuck you.
All right.
But Craig, who's your next
with
pick?
the was this the 5th pick? I'm gonna take the untitled Deadpool sequel.
Man, you guys are literally going in the exact order that I had them listed.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty similar. Like,
Damn.
we might all be taken from the same MDB list.
Well, we are, but I'm having trouble finding one that I think's actually gonna do well, because mine's sort of based on popularity. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mamma Mia, but There's no flipping ways. I am
No
taking
way.
you in the second round. No way.
Mamma Mia might be a conditional 7th round pick, but
We're
it
not even
depends.
getting to the 7th round.
No,
We're doing
no,
5.
that's the undrafted free
It's
agent
just because
level.
it's trending more, and that's why it's popping up higher on that. That's all. That's
I actually considered it for this next pick just because I thought it's been a while since the last one came out. You'd probably
Yeah.
get a lot of flood for it, but
Well, see, the thing is, it was never meant to have a sequel, really. So, like, I feel like people are curious about it, but I don't think as many people like Mamma Mia as they think.
well, I think
like,
I
I
think
love me a
that they're-
musical, but I'm not seeing it in theaters.
I think
I'm
that
still waiting for
they're,
Cats too, so
Same here.
I,
give me
I-
Dogs.
I think
Dogs
that
the
their-
musical.
Their demographic for Mamma Mia, like
Definitely not
the,
me.
the,
Yeah, you're right.
the demographic
50-year-old
that
wino moms.
they're exactly who don't care that it was never set up for a sequel. They just
That's
care
fair.
that there is a sequel, and they're
They just
like,
want an
"Oh my god,
opportunity to
Mamma
go
Mia
drink
came out."
wine
Exactly.
and go see the movie.
Those are all potential ones, but I also think it's not going to do as well as some people think.
And
But we'll
that's
see.
why it's not on my list.
Yeah.
Andrew, number 6.
I'm coming in with my number 6, Fantastic Beasts 2.
Oh, I didn't even have that anywhere near mine. I'm so
Nope.
glad.
Just because it's associated Harry Potter movie.
You don't think there's
It's gonna get
fatigue
tons of
at some
people.
point?
Well, it's been long enough, Craig, since the last
That's-
series came out,
that
and they're
is
starting
fair.
a new series. So, but you know, I still haven't seen the last one, so that's why it wasn't even in my mind. So,
In my defense,
we've had a
you guys
discussion
took the
about Harry Potter.
like the
Yeah,
you
I-
guys took the
the good stuff.
4 of 5 best movies. So
Well, should I say? Well, my next pick is the one I thought you were actually going to go with, which is Incredibles 2.
see that I have that lower on my list as a sleeper because I was like, I don't think these guys are going to go for that shit, and then you did.
See,
so fuck you, Scott.
Incredibles again. All these Disney ones, these Disney and Marvel ones, I'm just like I can never figure out which one's going to do the best. Because if you look at like last year's box office, a couple of the family movies did better than the superhero movies. So it's like it's one of those like ooh, yeah. So I'm hedging my bets with having Incredibles
See, with
2.
him, yeah.
Plus the
with
hype of
Incred-
how long it's been since it too.
Just reading the plot, apparently it's supposed to be about like Mrs. Incredible or Elastigirl, whatever she's going by at this point.
Yeah.
Apparently she's off saving the world, so you know Mr. Incredible, Bob Parr's got to look after Jack.
Okay.
Apparently that's like the whole story. So for me, I was
Oh.
like, yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Maybe it's more of like a short that they made long. So I was a little skeptical to put it that high as my number 3, but I was probably going to bring it in as my number 5 if no one had taken it yet.
Okay.
But you beat me to it.
Yeah. Too late.
So, I'm quickly running out of ideas. Not to tip my hand or anything.
Really?
But yeah, with my 8th, because I don't have a.
Well, I could have
When
made
was
my
the
whole
last
list
time-
with just Marvel movies. There's
When-
enough coming out next year.
When was the last time you thought I had a pulse on anything anybody else thought when it came to
That's fair.
blockbuster films?
Well, you're looking at the popularity thing. You could click the top.
You went to see, you saw Justice League and liked it, so you know what's up.
I'm basically a professional now.
That's all it takes, man. You're like
And-
one good movie that everyone else likes, you're good.
And unfortunately, I still have a hard time thinking Aquaman's going to do well. So I'm going to take Jurassic World as my 3rd pick.
Jurassic
See,
World.
I had that high on my list, but as I finished off the list, I was like, you know what? I think it's gonna not bomb, but I think it's not gonna quite meet.
It's my sleeper.
Expectations.
It was my backup 5, to be honest.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have taken it this high, but I'm, like I said,
You're going with something. You gotta
trying to
pick
You gotta-
take.
you gotta
I'm
take
trying to
what's
take
there,
things that you guys before you guys take them away from me. Basically,
That's fair. That's fair.
It's funny though, because you guys are picking things that aren't even close to my list. But whatever.
that's what we're here
Now,
for,
I mean,
Scott.
Like the
That's what we're
first
here
top
for.
ones, we were all on
Obviously,
the same
I
page.
figured that the first few would be very
Yeah.
similar, but
Now we're getting into the 3s, 4s, and 5s. I think it's gonna be very different. I'm curious to see where we're all differing. Whose turn is it
Okay.
now then?
it's
you-
my
Andrew's
go.
turn
Okay.
with the 9th pick.
9th pick.
See, this one's tough. I think I'm gonna have to go off script here.
Shit!
Ooh.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Nice.
Wow!
That's on my
No
script.
way!
That's
no
on my
way! I
script?
thought that was coming in.
Why would you say that, Craig? Craig, this is the thing you don't understand. Every Marvel movie has, on average, done at least 200 million.
Yeah. See, the reason I'm
Everyone.
putting it in here because I figured you would take it eventually, Scott. So I was like, nah, I know he's gonna take it. I gotta move it up my list.
I was trying to give
But
you guys
because
a little bit of
the
a hint
first
since
one,
I did have two
because the
Marvel.
first one was a comedy, right? I mean, it was a feel good movie.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they kind of follow that with the second one and give it some good tie-in points for future Marvel movies.
I think
So I'm banking on you, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Make it happen for me, Paul Rudd.
I think that's a good choice because I think people are curious about what this next one's going to be about because they did set up a lot of like questions you're kind of curious about, like the microverse, I think it's called. Is that what it's called? Quantum realm. Quantum realm.
Yeah.
Quantum
When it
realm.
gets real.
Yeah, when it gets real
with
small.
the small. Yeah.
It's the quantum. It's the microverse in the comics. Quantum realm in the MCU. Okay, so the quantum realm. I'm curious about that. I want to see what's his name's wife come back. I don't know if you saw the casting for that, but it's Michelle Pfeiffer, who I love.
Michelle Pfeiffer's
She was my first crush
Catwoman
ever. Yes, as Catwoman. I love that bitch. So I'm excited to see that. So I'm happy you picked it that high because that was going to be my next pick anyways. But I'm happy that you got it.
Your next pick.
This one's a little tough for me. I'm kind of trying to think if I should deviate from my superheroes or just lean into it because that's how I am.
Superheroes are guaranteed. They're a guaranteed moneymaker right now. So
I like a dangerous pick.
I see, and sometimes I'm okay with the dangerous pick, which
I want to see you come in with Christopher Robin right now. I want you to come in with that shit. Make Christopher Robin your pick. Do it. Do it.
With the 10th overall pick.
That wasn't even on my list. I was like, what are you even talking? At first I thought you were making a reference to a character in one of the movies on my list, like a superhero. Then I'm like, oh no, that's Winnie the Pooh. That's Winnie the Pooh. I'm sorry I'm taking so long. I'm debating between...
It's you and McGregor, man. You know you want to.
I'm debating between the Dark Phoenix and New Mutants right now, to be honest.
See, those ones I don't think they're going to do well. I think they're going to conk out.
I see that's part of the feeling I have too, but I'm also like...
They're going to make money, but I don't think they're going to be huge.
Yeah.
I don't even have them on my list just because X-Men just doesn't... it doesn't do it for me.
But see, the New Mutants has a new twist to it, which I'm kind of like, ooh, maybe that'll... couple $100 million.
I don't think it's going to be enough to kickstart the fire. I think they're going to ride it out until Marvel officially takes over.
Okay.
And then reboot it entirely, scrap everything.
Okay, then I'm just going to go left field with this. I'm going with A Wrinkle in Time. Just out of nowhere.
Shit.
Bam, that wasn't even on my list.
Disney. I'm just betting on Disney because they make the most money
that's a safe
out of everyone.
Bet. You're taking all the safe picks right now, man.
I'm terrible at gambling. You guys know this. I don't believe in gambling, to be honest.
Well, you've got a pretty good return on investment so far with your first 3 picks.
Hopefully.
You can afford one potential dump.
You think it's going to be that big a dump? See, I'm thinking that's going to be a couple hundred.
Potentially. It's the one on your list that isn't a guaranteed.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. That's fair.
Was my point.
Okay.
Where, like, Craig's got a good draft so far. Mine, I'm kind of batting cleanup right now. But mine are all mediocres. Craig's are mediocres with 1 superstar. You've got 3 superstars, so you can afford to throw in 1 question mark.
Fair enough. That's fair. So, Craig, what are you thinking next, then?
I know what I want my last 2 picks to be, but I can't decide what order I want to do them in.
Christopher Robin?
No, it's not Christopher Robin. It's actually Mary... No, it's not Mary Poppins.
Ugh, God, I was going to say. Is it the Jungle Book?
It's not the Jungle Book. I'm
second
gonna go with a semi-controversial pick. I am going to place my 4th pick of the draft squarely on the backs of feminism and pick Ocean's 8.
Ocean's 8. See, that's one I don't think it's going to do that great. I look at the numbers for Ghostbuster, and I wasn't.
I was thinking Ghostbuster-esque.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to see it
take
at least 4 times in theaters because Sandra Bullock, that's my girl.
Yeah.
Thank you for contributing to my numbers.
You're welcome. I got you.
That's my actual gamble.
Craig's going to sink the entire savings that he has in the bank. I'm just trying to get those numbers up.
That's out
He's
of my
gonna start
list.
campaigns. He's gonna Twitter campaigns and
Exactly. My 100 if that followers will all be bombarded with go see Ocean's 8. They'll be wondering what the hell's going on.
What's Ocean's 8?
Is this guy invested in it? Nope.
No.
Yeah.
See, now that it's my pick, I'm torn because I look at my list and it's all cleanup movies. It's all movies that are going to do well, but it could go either way.
Yeah, that's most of
Like,
that's like
this
every
is tough,
superhero
like-
movie left. I'm just like, oh, it could do okay.
Like Aquaman for me, that's
I know.
one I hope it's going
I'm
to do
like-
great.
I'm like, Tippy,
but
if you don't take it, I might take it, to
realistically-
be honest.
Oh man,
But yeah, but at the same time, I think it's the only DC movie out next year too. So
Yeah.
it's like maybe a little DC, like.
but at the
little
same time,
space. It's hard
Warner
to say.
Brothers DC is kind of up in the air right now.
It's true.
People might say, you know what, we'll skip this one in theaters.
Maybe.
Wait till it comes out and see what the direction goes in the future.
It's very true.
For all we know, 6 months from now, after we've done this draft, obviously,
Yeah.
they're going to come out with some new information that says, oh yeah, Aquaman's the last in the DC universe.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be sitting here like, but what?
But
But Batman,
the Batman.
Wonder Woman.
They better not do that. I'll be
Give
so
me
upset.
Flashpoint.
I
What?
think we'll at least get to Wonder Woman 2 before they quit, to be honest. Because just how
See,
well Wonder
oh.
Woman did. Because they bumped up how, like, Wonder Woman 2, I think, is coming out, like, after Aquaman, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Well, the year
Oh.
after, at least. But yeah. So, I know what you mean. Like, because then I have, the other one I have on mine as a superhero one after the 2 X-Men one is Venom.
Hellboy. I got Hellboy on my
Hellboy.
list.
I forgot about Hellboy.
See, that's one that hasn't been talked about a lot, so it's another potential sleeper or sneak-in
Yeah,
one for me.
exactly. But it's also.
Like I really like the Ron Perlman ones,
So
and
did I.
always forget his name. But this guy they've got doing it looks exactly like the Ron Perlman Hellboy,
yeah, this guy from
which
Stranger
blows my
Things.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also in the Equalizer, which Equalizer 2 is one of my potential picks right now. So I'm gonna submit my pick right now.
Yeah, you have
Hopefully
two
you
picks
guys, I'm coming in Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Wreck-It Ralph 2. I like it. I like these curveballs.
Okay.
I needed a kid movie in there.
Kid movies are always a safe bet.
I can't remember when it comes out, but I think it comes out sometime when parents can probably take their kids over, like March break or something.
Sounds about right.
That's a pretty good
I'm gonna
gamble.
pull up the information now.
Yeah, double check that it's this year, just because I don't have it on my list. And I don't have a list up at all. But I
Wreck-It
think that's
Ralph.
a good safe choice because that's a is it a Disney or is it non-Disney?
Non-Disney.
Yeah, so it's a non-Disney cartoon, and those
DreamWorks.
dudes-
Oh no, it is Disney. It is Disney.
Is it Disney?
I thought
Yeah,
it was
it's Disney.
DreamWorks.
Okay.
No, it's Disney.
See, I
Damn.
thought it was DreamWorks too, but I also had like this weird thing like, is it Disney? That's like Big Hero 6. I always forget that that's a Disney movie, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It's because it's not Pixar. That's why. Like, I'm used to like
Yeah,
the Disney
they're-
Pixar.
It's
It's
because they're
it's a
not
straight
Pixar
Disney.
movies.
Yeah.
It
Which is a
comes
weird
out November,
move,
so
though.
there's still a chance
Oh, that's good.
parents will take them to see it over Christmas break if it's still in theaters.
There's nothing
Yep.
in November either, too. There's nothing
Yeah.
big in November. There's
But
no
picking,
Yeah.
picking
no Star
a late
Wars
movie
this
is,
November.
Picking a late movie is a tough one, especially if it's not
But-
a hit.
That's really that's really like a hope.
That's a
That's
weird
like
statement
I've said
to
a bunch
say
of times.
after The Last Jedi just came out and made
Well,
$1.6
but it was-
billion.
It was the last
in less
Jedi.
than a month.
It wasn't Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Well, I know. I'm just saying there's still money at the end of the year to be spent.
Yes,
I'm not saying it's
if
going to make
you-
$1 billion, but if there's
you
nothing
put
else
out
it's going
the last
against.
Jedi,
Well, The Last
Luckily,
Jedi.
it won't have any Star Wars movies potentially.
That's
to
what
go
I
up
was
against,
saying.
fair.
It
so-
doesn't have competition, so families still got to do
That's
something
fair.
with
All
their
it's really
kids
going to
for a
go
week
up
and a half.
against is freaking Aquaman, and like,
And Aquaman's more December too, so they'll have a couple weeks
Yeah.
of space. So
yeah.
I like it. I support.
You hear
that
that,
choice.
Wreck-It Ralph? John C. Riley, you better start promoting the shit out of this movie, okay? You got to help me win this right now, man.
This could go Coco route. Coco's got that same like release date from this year. Coco was
Yeah.
Disney, same around that same time, and Coco did better than Justice League, I'm pretty sure, or is
Which
close to doing. But
see that if you had asked me before if that was going to do,
Yeah, there was a
no.
lot of
I bet it's going to make $5 total.
that's
like,
what a lot of people felt like. But it really actually resonated a lot with Mexican and Latino culture, which makes sense. Anyways, is it my pick,
pick number
now?
5, Scott. Pick number 5.
Oh.
yeah,
Okay.
Scott, with your final pick in the 2018 draft.
Yeah. See, I think I'm gonna have to go with this one, which we were just talking about. I think I'm gonna go with
I'm gonna write
Aquaman,
you
just
down
because.
for. Yeah, I was
'cause-
just gonna write that down for you.
Because I'm, me, I love me my superheroes. These are the only ones I make it out to, so I'm a little biased as to like what's actually ever in movies or what's out in theaters. Because I'm just like, oh, I saw that. Of course, it's out. But I do think it's gonna do well because it is the only DC one this year. I think Aquaman was one of the standouts of Justice League. I think a lot of people are fans of Jason Momoa, and I'm a big fan of him. I just watched 5 seasons of a TV show with him, so yeah, going with Aquaman just because I'm cliche like that. But that's the last one of my picks. Craig, what's your last pick?
This is one of the hardest decisions I've ever made.
No, it's a little sad. This is just a big for fun game. It's not like we're even winning anything.
Bragging rights.
Except for
Yeah.
bragging rights.
It's all that feeling good about yourself.
But that was one of your goals
It
anyways.
was on the list of one of the goals. How am I supposed to start 2018 off right if I don't feel good about picking Tomb Raider for the final pick on my list?
Tomb Raider?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, I like it.
I like gambling. I mean, the
I like
last
gambling
half of
too.
my list is all like, oh geez, it might happen, it might not.
See, I
It's basically
think
the interesting picks.
yes, I think your Tomb Raiders might potentially be like the not quite as much, but it might be the sneaker not sneaker, the sleeper not like sorry, Fast and the Furious 8. So Fast, I don't think it's gonna do quite as well as that, but I think it's gonna take some of that audience and do a lot better than people think. So I think that's an okay, what's it called, wild card choice. If that makes sense. So yeah.
Yes. I feel better about it than Ocean's 8.
Yeah, I would too. I feel better about Wrinkle in Time, to be honest.
But when
That's why I picked it.
when my Twitter army takes over and buys all the movie tickets to Ocean's 8, you guys better watch.
That 40,000, yeah.
Yeah.
You each see it 10 times.
Oh man. So now it's my pick.
The
Yeah.
final pick.
The final
You-
This
pick.
puts me in a
You
tough
You
spot.
are the man who
2018.
shuts out all the other movies. And for those listeners who are playing along at home and had other things on their list, you're going to break their hearts and cause a fury.
See, my blood inside of me tells me I have to go with The Irishman,
So you have to
the
bid on that one,
Robert De
too.
Niro movie,
Okay.
but I can't do it.
That's a
I
good
can't
idea.
do it.
That's
It's not gonna. It's not gonna
It's
pull.
not going to do it.
I'm gonna see it, but I didn't think anybody else would.
I didn't
I'm
even
gonna
hear of
see
before
it.
you said
It would be the curse of Suburbicon. I would go see it by myself, and
I'm
no one else
still
would.
excited to see that. Like, is it that, or then there's that Liam Neeson one coming out?
Yeah,
I
The
forget what it's
Commuter.
called. Yeah, The Commuter.
That was one
which
of
is
the
the
ones that
exact
was-
same movie as the one where he's on the plane playing the
I
the air
have
marshal.
that. Unknown.
It's the same frickin' movie except he's on a train.
Yes.
But my pick, the final pick in the 2018 fantasy movie draft,
50 Shades.
Venom.
I was close.
No, not 50
What'd
Shades.
you pick? I didn't hear it because he said 50 Shades.
Venom.
Venom. Okay. I like it. Venom was...
Not much is known about it, but it's Spider-Man. It's going to get all the geeks wet in their pants. They're
Yeah.
going to go see it. I'm going to go see it.
Spider-Man's still up there as
You're
one of the
gonna
most
go see
popular. Yeah. I'm going to see it even
He's-
though I kind of didn't want it to be made.
I don't really think it's a good choice, but it's still Spider-Man related. I think people will go see it just to hate on it.
That's possible.
So that still makes money.
You can't hate... Well, you can hate on a movie without seeing it, but you can't specifically like rant about a movie without at least seeing it. You can't be like, oh, that was a waste of money. Well, if you didn't pay any money, you can't say that. So you have to go
Exactly.
see it. Then it's like, oh, it's a waste of money. But
Now,
yeah.
I have a proposition for you guys.
Yes.
Because there's still tons of movies left on the board. Do you guys want to do a undrafted free agent pickup where we can pick up 2 extra movies and then we're allowed to substitute one of them in for one of our actual draft picks
I kind of
next
like.
year
I kind of like
to
that.
get our total up?
I
At
kinda
any
like
point in
that.
the year? Or do you want to just do that now?
Well,
No, we
now
pick
let's
them
do it
now, and then we
We
can
pick them
switch
now,
them
and then
whenever.
next year.
Yeah, if we want.
Let's say
So you take so
Scott-
we'll do 7 picks and you take your best 5 at the end of the year.
or my proposition is you can get rid of one of your top 5 and substitute it with one of your 2 conditional picks.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I
Right
thought that
now?
was a good way. So if you have like one dud, you can get rid of it, but you can't like if you picked 3 duds, you're not getting rid of 2 of them. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like
Yeah.
that. So like we
You're allowed to get rid of one of your duds.
yes. I like this. 2 extra like spare free agents.
Man,
Yeah.
it's
And we
hard
can trade
enough
one in.
coming up with my flippin' answers.
Well, this will be a little easier for me because they're just free agent throw offs. So should I go next then?
Yeah,
Absolutely, go ahead.
Pick.
New Mutants is my first one then.
New Mutants.
Because that one only didn't make my list because I needed a DC one, to be honest. But it is a Fox Marvel one that's coming out this year, and it's got a little bit of a different take, and horror films tend to do pretty well, so... Yeah, I might have to switch that in with the for Wrinkle in Time, depending on what happens. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's kind of my backup plan. Or Aquaman, really. But Craig, we're not doing too much time with these last ones, so just give me your first thing on your thing. Otherwise, I'm telling you, it's Mamma Mia.
To be completely honest, that might not be a bad pick.
I was gonna say
Craig,
it's
just
a good
The
pick.
Catcher Was a Spy. Just go with that. It's a baseball movie. It's got Mark Strong and Jeff Daniels. Just do that one. Catcher Was a Spy. That's yours, Greg.
Catcher Was a Spy. Is that like a baseball making of The Catcher in the Rye?
Major League Baseball player Mo Berg lives a double life working for the Office of Strategic Services.
That sounds awful.
The
actually
Catcher
sounds,
Was a
don't
Spy,
even-
man.
don't
that
even
actually
sugarcoat
sounds
it.
terrible, and instead I'm going to take Rampage as my conditional pick.
Rampage.
it.
I mean, that
Okay.
didn't even make the list.
That's
I
a
know.
rock
Good for you.
one.
That's
It's a semi-safe bet. It's
It
a
is.
possible.
It's only a safe bet because it has The Rock in it.
Yeah, and it's only a
That's fair,
replacement
yeah.
if your other ones do bad. So it doesn't matter.
Exactly, which is probably going to happen.
Don't say that. Be positive. Okay, Andrew, what's your first free
Oh,
agent?
man. Oh, shit. Okay, this puts me in a tough spot because it's because
Boston.
Because
There we go.
Boston.
There's a Boston,
Boston.
reference every
Because.
time. Because.
I'm gonna go Sicario 2.
Oh, that's not even on my list.
I know a lot of people who preach
The first one.
Sicario being a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll do better than I hope it does better than I think it will. I haven't even seen the first yet, but I've heard it's great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Sicario 2.
Good call. I like it. Okay, so let's get this moving, and because I'm just cliche and don't want to put a lot of thought into it, X-Men: The Dark Phoenix will be my second free agent, just because.
Go figure. 6 out of 7.
No. Yeah, never mind. Incredibles is a superhero movie. Yeah,
that is. Yep.
yeah, never mind. My bad. Yeah. Well, you know what? Scotty likes what Scotty likes, so let's be honest. I can't pick something that I would personally go see. And we both know I'm actually going to go see all of these, so yeah. And it was the easiest because my list is getting messed up and I scratched out a bunch of things. But yeah,
Yep. I can't be bothered to scroll any further, so Mamma Mia it is.
nice, Craig. I'm so happy somebody took Mamma Mia though, because I'm hoping
Sleeper
it ends up
pick.
being like the #1 hit just to prove us all wrong.
Watch it makes like $3 billion, and I gotta go kill myself or something just because like I can't handle it.
There'll be ABBA music everywhere, and no one wants that.
No,
I was gonna ask
no,
that.
not
Do
one.
you guys know if it's like new ABBA music or are they just recycling some old ABBA music?
There's no such
Can you
thing
imagine
as
if they-
new ABBA music. If
That's
there's
what I'm
new
saying.
ABBA
What if they-
music, the world ends. Okay.
What if they use A-Teens, which is the ABBA teens,
Yeah.
like
Oh, God.
like the teenage pop band from when we were kids?
Yeah.
What if they use their music?
Oh god, that'd be terrible.
The only song that comes to head is Upside Down, which is a terrible but catchy song. Like, if they use that, I'm done. I can't go to another movie ever again. I'm retiring from Cinephile.
Yeah.
If they make new ABBA music specifically for the Mamma Mia movie, this movie will make so much money it's not even funny.
Well,
just because ABBA hasn't been a thing for long enough.
That's what I was curious. Like, I don't know if there's still a cult following to it at all. Like, I know there is
ABBA?
a cult following to ABBA.
They don't exist.
So they've passed away then, or they're
No,
they've
they just
fallen
haven't
apart?
been a band. That's what
Okay.
happens when you
That's what
marry
I'm sure.
each other and then get divorced and then marry each other.
So you're talking about a lot of things that I don't know about. All
Yeah.
I know is Dancing Queen. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Now you've learned the short and abbreviated and probably slightly incorrect history of ABBA.
Okay.
They're not a thing.
So Andrew, are you going with Christopher Robbins then?
No, I'm coming in Pacific Rim too.
That's a
Oh,
safe-
nice. That's a good
safe-ish
one.
pick.
That's a
Yeah.
very good one. Yes.
I know that the first one made over 400 million internationally.
Yeah.
That's a fair chunk of change.
The Asian
I
markets.
think I
love
might
that.
be able to use it to cover off,
Yeah.
Venom at the very
If
least.
Venom
Get
doesn't
me
end
up
up being
a bit.
That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good backup.
Yes. Let it be known to everyone that if Mamma Mia beats Ocean's 8, then we'll all be a little bit concerned.
I won't be. I think we need more music in our lives, in the world. Because the
not
music
Craig,
makes the world go around.
Craig, looking at our lists, I think like any other time we've ever played a game together, we're playing for second. This is what happens when you get the first overall pick.
And then we'll be at
In a
like
fan-
June,
in a-
and Mamma Mia, I don't know when it comes out, but it'll have like skyrocketed, and it'll be like that time I won Catan, and I was like, holy crap, I'm counting points!
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
I'll actually be breaking out my calculator to figure out what I have instead of just waiting until December.
I think Mamma Mia is going to make like 100 million opening weekend, and that's
Oh.
it. Not a penny more after that.
Yeah, that's it.
Just immediate drop off the next week.
Yeah.
But it'll
Oh,
get me
I
that
saw it.
sweet opening trophy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. I think the only musical I've seen like number of times, multiple times in theaters for sure, was Rock of Ages.
Rock of
Rock
Ages.
of
I saw it
Ages.
in every theater in Niagara twice.
I remember. I think
Why?
I was with you half
Because I don't
those
believe in
times.
illegally obtaining movies. That's why.
That's why. And cinema tickets used to be a lot cheaper 5-10 years ago.
And you go to the drive-in and it costs you $3 because you got 40 people in your car. Yeah, you do that shit.
Or your minivan. I only did that once.
Or you get everyone to sit in the box of your truck.
Or you get a school bus.
I don't have a
That
bus
costs
license.
money, man. You got to buy the school
You gotta
bus.
get a
So?
bus license, you gotta take training, you gotta get air brake license.
No, you don't
whole
need air
thing.
brakes on a school bus.
Okay, I was
You
thinking
just need a
rigs
B
then.
license if you're going to drive it for school.
Well, that's completely off topic. Should we maybe talk about what we all watched over these our hiatus?
I want to talk about Ontario licensing.
That will be on our other podcast, Craig. Come on, leave
The
it for...
Ontario Legislator podcast that we're starting tomorrow.
Yes.
I was trying to think of something funny, and I had nothing.
The best,
Not
the
a
best
damn
thing I
thing.
had
like
was
Canuck
Scott,
something.
Scott and Craig talk about the rules of the road in Ontario. Please don't die.
Yes. That's what we'll call it. Please don't die.
Please don't die.
P-double-D.
That actually probably wouldn't be a bad premise for a podcast. It's too bad we're not popular enough to have like a small cult following break off of our small cult following.
Have half of our listeners listening to, yeah.
Exactly.
Like people who only listen to Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. There's not that many people, but there's a few that definitely only follow him.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. All right, WWWTW, the acronym that saves lives.
Well, since you said the acronym, Craig, take her away.
Yeah.
All right, so we've already mentioned off the top that we've been on hiatus. I know we're really good at pretending like we haven't been on hiatus. You know, those episodes have been pumping out regularly, but we've been on hiatus. And what goes along with that is not watching a whole lot.
For you
on
two.
TV.
For you
Yeah.
two.
It's it became
For me, 'cause I
family
went
That's the
time.
asterisk.
I went and visited family, and for those of you who don't know, my family, my parents' house can be a little bit of a black hole when it comes to entertainment that my mom doesn't approve of, and so not much television got watched. I saw Star Wars again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was
that
it still
good.
just as good the second time?
It was still just as good. I still have the same problem with the people in the theater, and we'll discuss that if and when we get to it next week.
Next week or the week after that.
Yeah, because I don't.
We still have
I-
to discuss that.
I particularly like this one part. I don't want to ruin it because I think it's one of the best parts in the movie. But I watched Bob's Burgers because it's about flippin' time, but it's on Netflix.
Burger puns.
That was
I get
unintentional.
I'm
proud
of
of
puns.
that.
Flippin'. Oh, it's because you guys never worked at a burger place. I
Nope.
get them.
But it is. It's about time that the wonderful genius that is Bob's Burgers made it to Netflix, because there is a lot of other Fox animation stuff that's on there,
Yeah.
and I
I
love
honestly thought it was.
Bob's Burgers.
If it's got
isn't.
H. John Benjamin associated with it, it's good.
The cast is great. Eugene Merman, H. John Benjamin, the shawl person that I can't remember her first name. I feel bad.
Hey, you guys watch Bob's Burgers? This is me doing an impression of Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Hi, I'm Bob from Bob's Burgers. You guys watch that show Archer? This is an impression of me doing the guy from the show Archer. Hi, I'm Archer from the show Archer.
Now this is Bob meeting Archer. Hey Archer, I'm Bob from Bob's Burgers. Hey, Bob. I'm Archer from that show Archer.
And for those of you who don't know, that was Andrew's and myself's impression of Carl, the convenience store owner.
Carl.
From Family Guy, who is H.M. Benjamin.
Which we decided long ago, if I was a character from Family Guy, it would be Carl, which is good and bad.
Yeah. Carl's a little bit weird. But that's what I watched this week.
Only Bob's Burgers. Nice.
And Star Wars. I started to watch the Todd Barry comedy special before this, and then I looked up and I was like, I got 45 minutes till we're supposed to start recording, and I've got 48 minutes left.
That math doesn't add up.
Doesn't add up, right.
I would rather just stop 15 minutes into Todd Barry and come back to it later.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I do that a lot.
Yes, and I like him. So yeah, that's what I watched. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else.
Okay,
No.
well, Andrew, why don't you tell me what you watched over?
Well,
this
my
hiatus?
list is pretty short,
That's
too.
what I thought. That's why mine's
Families.
last.
I saw Jumanji twice.
Nice.
And
Did you like that?
I gotta
Two
say,
times?
2 times. Tumanji.
Tumanji.
And
2.
I gotta
Zoolander.
say, it was better than anticipated.
That's good to hear.
Jack Black. Wow,
Jack
Jack
Platt.
Black.
He hasn't been
his
brushing
evil
lately.
Jumanji teeth. Jack Black does an amazing job playing a teenage girl.
I can believe
Incredible.
that. I can.
But-
100%
I think
believe that.
that'll be the only role that I don't
I think it's a
hate
standout
Jack
role.
Black in.
The movie itself it's not even comparable with the first.
Oh.
Like the first one's more of like a legitimate, less comedy, more like thriller movie.
Yeah.
Whereas this one's all comedy,
Yeah.
but it's awesome.
That's
Yes,
good.
I would definitely recommend it. Plus, Karen Gillan's a babe, so
love her.
I gotta stand by that.
Yeah.
She definitely looks better as herself as opposed to a creepy, weird blue
thing.
android.
Yep. I 100% agree
But-
with that. I like her with
or-
hair as well because she has nice hair.
And she's Scottish. Did you know that?
Yeah. Well, I watched her on Doctor Who before she was on anything.
I didn't know she was on Doctor Who, but I figured it
seasons.
out
2 or 3
watching
seasons.
The Circle,
Okay.
like a couple weeks ago, which is another thing I
It all
watched.
comes
and
back
that
to the circle.
all comes back to the Circle. That movie, I was like, whoa, time out. She's Scottish? What?
Yeah.
Google the shit, figured it out, and I was like, damn, I'm hooked
Oh yeah. She's
because Hermione has a friggin' American accent in it.
great. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, like Emma Watson with an American accent. I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah. When
But-
English people do American accents, it always just like I always just turn my head. I'm like, why would you do that to yourself?
Like Hugh Jackman chucking out his Australian accent.
Yeah. It's like
and coming as American. In the movie, what was it? I can't remember what it is. No, not
because that was
Australia.
one of his movies.
I'm thinking Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, okay.
He was in. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's the movie based on
Moby Dick.
it's Moby Dick, something the sea,
Yeah, I'm forgetting what it's called. I know what
something
you're
like
talking about. I
that.
haven't seen it
The
yet.
Deep or something
Yeah.
like that.
To the Google.
Whatever
Continue
it's
with your
called,
thing, I'll
that
come back
movie,
later.
he's Australian, but he does more of a British accent.
Oh.
But I'm like, you kind of flip flop between the two, bro. Not a great movie, pretty good,
Yeah.
but not the best. Has nothing to do with anything
Yeah.
but accents. Karen Gillan, Scottish.
Yes.
She's a
Way to
babe.
bring it back.
Definitely go see Jumanji. The Circle was also great. Go see that. I watched a shit ton of American Dad
Nice.
because I figured, you know what, I'm fine. I'm gonna get into it.
Okay.
I've been putting it off forever. I've just been
Oh.
watching Family Guy
you.
over and over and over again. I've seen a few episodes here and there, and I like them, but
Yeah.
I wasn't able to dive right in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good. It's like
That's-
amazing. I put on par with Family Guy.
It's one of the
I
shows
I
my
like that
brother
there's more
rotates through.
continuity from episode to episode,
Yeah.
as opposed to each thing being a standalone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still just as funny.
Yeah. No, that one's pretty good. My brother, that's one of the 4 shows my brother always is rewatching. It's that,
Okay, yeah.
Family Guy, Trailer Park Boys, and That 70 Show.
Okay, 2 out of 4 is what I'm on with
Yeah,
him.
I know. That's why I was surprised that you'd only just gotten into American Dad, because I knew how much you were
I was just so on Family Guy. I didn't want to ruin
That's fair.
the chance of it being good because it could. I didn't. What if it didn't hold a candle up?
Yeah.
I'd be like, this is disappointing.
Yeah, that's fair. Like the Cleveland Show.
Yeah, just like that.
The Cleveland
Not
show
like
is
Bob's
a joke
Burgers, though.
within Family Guy, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
Like the jokes about the Cleveland show are funnier than
Those
the
are my
Cleveland show
favorite.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are definitely some of my favorite things. I'm just like, oh, I'm glad you have a sense of humor that you can poke fun at yourself. I hate people who can't.
Hey, did you hear I'm getting a show? Yeah. By the way, the name of the movie that Chris Hemsworth was in 2015 was In the Heart of the Sea.
On the
Heart of the Sea. That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay. That's
The next movie I watched, and I just watched this the other day, it's called Stone Cold. And it's got... Or
Steve Austin?
It's no. It's
It's a
Brian
documentary.
Bosworth.
okay.
It's like Sons of Anarchy, like biker gang down in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
But Brian Bosworth plays a detective from Alabama.
Okay.
Alabama? No, it's definitely Alabama. And he's got to go and like take down this frickin' this biker gang from the inside. They just let him in. He shows up, does some badass
That
things, and
haircut
they're
is
like, okay,
friggin' awful. He's from Alabama,
And
by the way.
yeah. It's so bad, but like it's one of those action movies where you're like, oh man, this is garbage.
Okay. Yeah. Like Expendables.
2 hours in, you're like, oh shit,
still
this
watching
is
this
still garbage,
garbage,
but it's
yeah.
so good. Like it's so bad, but so good. He's a cop.
Yeah.
But he's got all this like intense military training, and he's just a total badass. And it's actually like it's a terribly good movie, if that makes any sense.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like any '90s like pro athlete, Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where
yeah.
it shouldn't be good, it is.
It's just good because you enjoy like this kind of like the balls to the wallsness of the.
That's exactly
Of
what it is.
Yeah.
It's like any Schwarzenegger movie.
yeah.
Any oh man, what's his name? Dolph Lundgren.
Like, when was the last time you rewatched Commando? Because I did that recently. It's not
last
quality,
year.
but it's just fun. like,
See, Schwarzenegger movies to me, like he
they're-
doesn't have a single bad one.
Yeah, I
because
agree.
the story's compelling.
They're always
and
pretty
his-
good, yeah.
and the rest of the cast is like very well cast.
and he always just does a great job of like. I always feel like he can fit into his roles, like really
Like
well.
his-
Like whatever. Like I know he's always the big guy, but he always fits into whatever. Like he's the big guy who pretends he's kind of shy. Oh, he's the big guy who's big and tough. Oh, he's
Like in Twins,
Yeah.
where he's the super awkward one.
exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of when I thought
Yeah.
he was not being a tough guy. It's the only one where he's not.
Jimmy. But
yeah.
like he's like an American Dolph Lundgren is what he is.
Yes. Very-
Not Schwarzenegger,
No.
Bosworth.
Yes.
But like it's the same type of thing where they shouldn't be famous, but they are because they're huge dudes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And the last thing on my list is I just started it today because I was setting up the TV I got for Christmas. Thanks, Mom, Dad. I was setting it up and I was like, "Ooh, shit, let's watch Netflix on TV." Boom, and I get a notification. Season 6 of Last Man Standing just got added to Netflix.
Oh, there was another season
Had-
still. Cool.
Hadn't seen season 6. I think I'm like 5 or 6 episodes in already.
Nice.
Crushed them. So it's been Last Man Standing.
I'll have to get to that next. I didn't know there was a new season. Oh, cool. That's nice. Well,
And that's
That's all
that's
you
all
watched.
I
Alright.
watched over the course of like 3 weeks.
well, I watched a lot over the last 3 weeks because I didn't see my family. I spent time with my loved ones on Netflix.
The important ones.
I'm
Yes.
just kidding, kind of. Anyways, I still had a lot of time to watch.
I don't know
on
how
TV.
would Jay feel about that.
I texted him over the break. It's okay. Anyways, the main thing I watched was I binged all of Stargate Atlantis, all 5 seasons I watched
Okay,
last
yep.
week. I have them all on DVD.
Jason Momoa. There
Yep,
we go.
He was in. I just wanted to see him messing around. One thing, he was a lot smaller back then than I remember him being.
He didn't get super shredded until Game of Thrones, and even
Yeah.
then he wasn't that big. He was just a big frame.
Exactly. Yeah. Well.
It's like he got bigger for Aquaman.
Exactly. It's like when I'm rewatching it, I'm just like, oh, he's the big guy there because he just has a big frame, but he wasn't super jacked yet. So I was like, that was kind of interesting to see that he'd grown so much in the last 10 years since that show had been out. So
It was like Michael Chiklis in like early 2000s. Like
Exactly.
he was a big muscular guy back then, but then looking back, you're kind of like,
yeah,
you're just kind of short and stocky, bro.
exactly. Yeah. So I watched all those. Next, I'm gonna have to get to SG1, but I gotta get all those seasons first because there's 10 of those. I also watched the series, or not the season midpoint for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which this season's pretty good if anyone hasn't watched it yet. I know you mainly wait for DVD.
I'm 3 seasons behind.
You should catch up on those 3 seasons. I'd recommend that at least.
I gave up after season, like halfway through season 2, because it started to kind of fall out of continuity with like the MCU, because there are so many different directions going on.
Well, see, you say that, but they actually tie that back in. Like you think
They bring it back
it's all
in?
brought back together. Yeah,
Ugh.
it connects into but I could see why you might not want to. There's 6 seasons now to catch up on.
Season 1 was so good. I feel like I just can't watch the rest now because I'll be disappointed.
The last year's season was really good. They had Ghost Rider in it for a bit.
Yeah, Ghost Rider, Jamie Reyes or whatever.
Yeah, which was awesome. He was the best. But this season's pretty good too because they're in the future and in space, so that's fun.
And they've got the Skrull or whatever in it, don't they? The Skrull.
Which one's the blue ones?
I think it's the Skrull, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, what's the blue ones?
Whatever it is.
I don't mean to be racist.
They've got them.
It's I'm not good with names. It's not.
It's like 2091 or something. It takes place, isn't
exactly. Yeah, so it's a couple hundred years in the future, but it's really cool because the Earth's been destroyed. So they're on this like thing that was built and
and some colony or something.
But one of them's not in the future, so it's kind of cool to see what's interesting. So the last episode.
Wait, which one isn't in the future? Spoil it for me.
Fitz. So he's the one scientist dude, the dude scientist.
Okay, I can live with them. I like.
Well, it's up to him to like try.
Gerald or Patrick? No, it was
Gemma.
Simmons. That's what it was. Simmons.
Gemma Simmons.
Simmons. I like her.
Yeah, she's great.
She's so cute. So I'm like, I got to keep her in.
Yeah, she's in the future right now. So obviously they're trying to get back together. So Fitz is trying to figure out how to get to the future, and that's where they end the season or end the mid-season break, and so that's where I was left off. So can't wait for that to come back in a couple weeks. Then I watched the Dave Chappelle specials, which were pretty good. I recommend checking them out. I was talking to Craig about this before. I did prefer the first 2 he did for it, just because I felt they were a lot more joke-centric. These 2 I felt had a couple parts where he got a little off of jokes, but they're still pretty good. I've started to watch Firefly again, because I hadn't watched that in like 5-10 years.
Yes.
Yeah. I watched Iron Man for our video / I'm watching one MCU movie every week leading up to Avengers Infinity War. So just watched Iron Man on the weekend. And then I just started watching the new season of Doctor Who. But the one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was this Netflix original show called The Toys That Made Us. I don't know if either of you have seen that.
That's in one of the queues. Obviously, I haven't had time for it.
Yeah, of course. But I recommend it to both of you. The first episode is about Star Wars toys. But it's a really interesting series. There's 4 parts on it right now. There's 4 more parts to come eventually. But it's just really interesting.
That's new, right?
It's brand new. Like a week ago it came out. Okay. But there's only 4 episodes. They're about an hour each. Out right now. There's 4 more parts coming, and whenever they decide to release it, because it's an 8-part thing. But the 4 ones they did were Star Wars, He-Man, G.I. Joe, and Barbie. So those ones are pretty interesting to learn about, like how those toys were developed. The one interesting thing I wrote down was for He-Man. I don't know if you guys knew this, but he started off as a toy. Then they came up with a comic book as a marketing tool, because like a couple of the toy companies were like, or a couple of retailers were like, well, why are we going to sell this? And they're like, oh, we've got a comic with it too. And then they had to come up with the comic book after that, and then same with the TV show. So it was kind of interesting to learn about that. And then for G.I. Joe's villains were created by Marvel. In that same kind of scenario of G.I. Joe was around for a while, but then when they wanted to make a comic book about him, Marvel was like, you need villains. And so Marvel ended up making their villains.
Like, oh shit, do we really?
Yeah, they're like,
do we have to? He's not just a GI?
Well, see, hell? That's the interesting about this. So, like, I recommend this show to check it out and learn a little bit about why the G.I. Joe people didn't think that they needed villains, and about why Marvel was like, no, you need villains. And it's just a really interesting series to learn about like how all these toys are popular and how they influenced into these different franchises that we currently we love Star Wars, and G.I. Joe has a couple movies that I'm kind of mad about, but it was just a really interesting series that I wanted to recommend to you too.
I will take it under advisement and add it to my list.
Yes.
But that's all I watched, surprisingly, mainly because I was binging through Stargate Atlantis.
Yeah, well, those are long episodes, right?
Yeah, they're hour long, 5 seasons, 25 episodes a season, so that was last week.
Killing it.
Yes.
So that's what we watched this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching us, this week as well. Make sure you tune in next week because we have a very special guest who's going to be here. And this isn't like at the beginning where we joked about having John Hammond,
Which I
and
miss
shit
us
on.
doing those bits. They were so funny.
This is
I
a
don't miss it,
legitimate
but-
special guest.
Special guest joining us. There's going to be 4 of us for once, so it's going to be even more hectic than usual. More tangents, more of our normal craziness.
Will probably be our longest episode
potentially
that we've done,
Yes,
especially if we talk about The Last Jedi.
yes, but we'll have to talk to our
All
special
our
guest
Star
about it
Wars
first.
end up being long
That
episodes.
just won't be unfair. Adding another person and doing Star Wars, that's just so much content.
Yes, but yes.
Luckily for you guys, we forgot to grow up. Tune in next week.
Thanks for listening,
Luckily,
guys.
we forgot to grow up.